The story begins with Goldilocks, a curious and adventurous young girl who is wandering through the forest in search of an adventure. She's a free-spirited young girl who loves to explore and discover new things. She's always been fascinated by the forest and all the secrets it holds, and she's determined to uncover as many of them as she can. Goldilocks sets out on her journey early in the morning, with nothing but her backpack and her sense of adventure. She's excited to see what the forest has in store for her, and she's determined to make the most of her day. She walks along the well-worn path, taking in the sights and sounds of the forest. She stops to admire the colorful wildflowers that line the path and listens to the songs of the birds. As she walks deeper into the forest, she starts to notice that the path becomes more and more overgrown. She starts to wonder if she's going the right way, but she's not discouraged. Instead, she's excited by the idea of discovering something new. She pushes through the underbrush, and soon she comes across a small clearing. In the center of the clearing, she sees a cozy little cottage. Goldilocks approaches the cottage with curiosity and excitement, and she sees that it's well-maintained and has a cheerful look about it. She notices that there's no one around, and she decides to take a peek inside. She opens the door and steps inside, and she's greeted by the warm and inviting interior of the cottage. She sees a table set with 3 bowls of porridge, 3 chairs, and 3 beds. Goldilocks was intrigued and decides to explore further. She comes across a cozy little cottage, and seeing no one is home, she decides to explore inside. As she enters the cottage, she's greeted by the warm and inviting interior. She looks around and sees that everything is neat and tidy. She notices that there's a table set with 3 bowls of porridge, 3 chairs, and 3 beds. The cottage had a homely feel, and Goldilocks felt a sense of comfort. The smell of porridge caught her attention, and she approaches the table to take a closer look. She sees 3 bowls of porridge, 1 large, 1 medium, and 1 small. Without hesitation, she decides to try the porridge in the large bowl first. She takes a spoonful of the porridge, and it's too hot to eat. She tries the porridge in the medium bowl, but it's too cold. Finally, she tries the porridge in the small bowl, and it's just right. Goldilocks is pleased with her discovery and decides to take a look at the chairs. She goes to the chairs and sees that one is too hard, one is too soft, and one is just right. She sits on the just right chair and takes a deep breath, feeling comfortable and satisfied. The beds caught her attention next, and she walks towards them. She sees that one is too hard, one is too soft, and one is just right. She climbs into the just right bed and lays down. She finds it to be comfortable and cozy, and she couldn't resist the temptation to take a nap. As Goldilocks dozes off, she didn't realize that she was not alone in the cottage and that the real owners of the cottage, the 3 bears, Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Baby Bear, will soon be back home. She finds 3 bowls of porridge, 3 chairs, and 3 beds, and she tries them all out, finding one to be too hot, one to be too cold, and one to be just right. Goldilocks was intrigued by the porridge, chairs, and beds and decided to try them all out. The porridge was her first priority. She starts with the large bowl, takes a spoonful of the porridge, and finds it too hot to eat. She then moves on to the medium bowl, but it's too cold. Finally, she tries the porridge in the small bowl, and it's just right. The porridge was creamy and had the perfect sweetness. Goldilocks enjoyed it and felt satisfied. Next, she moves on to the chairs. She sits on the first chair and finds it too hard. The second chair was too soft and the third chair was just right. It was comfortable and she felt relaxed. Lastly, she goes to the beds. She climbs into the first bed and finds it too hard. The second bed was too soft and the third bed was just right. It was comfortable and cozy and she couldn't resist the temptation to take a nap. Goldilocks was pleased with her discovery. She had found the perfect porridge, chair, and bed for her taste. She felt satisfied and content in the cottage, not realizing that she was on someone else's property and that soon the real owners of the cottage, the three bears, will be back home. The three bears, Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Baby Bear, return home to find Goldilocks in their home, and they are understandably upset. They were expecting to come back to a quiet and peaceful home, but instead, they found a stranger who had been trying out their things. Mama Bear was the first to notice that something was amiss. She noticed that the porridge in the large bowl was no longer hot, the medium bowl was no longer cold, and the small bowl was empty. Papa Bear notices that the chairs were not in their usual place, and the bedclothes were rumpled. Baby Bear was the last one to notice that something was wrong. He couldn't find his favorite blanket on his bed. The three bears were confused and surprised to find a stranger in their home. They immediately became worried about their belongings and their safety. Mama Bear, being the eldest, took charge of the situation and asked, "Who's there? Show yourself." Goldilocks, who was fast asleep, woke up with a start and saw the three bears standing in front of her. She was frightened by the sight of the bears and didn't know what to do. Papa Bear, being the most rational one, tried to calm the situation. "Please don't be afraid. We just want to know who you are and why you're in our home." Goldilocks, feeling ashamed and embarrassed, explained her situation, her love for adventure, and her curiosity that led her to the cottage. Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Baby Bear listened to her story and understood her situation, but they were still upset with her for trying out their belongings without permission. Goldilocks is initially frightened but apologizes and explains her curiosity and love for adventure. She tells the three bears that she had been wandering through the forest looking for an adventure when she stumbled upon their cottage. She tells them that she was drawn to the cottage's cozy and inviting appearance and decided to take a look inside. She expresses her remorse for trying out their belongings without permission and apologizes for any inconvenience she may have caused. Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Baby Bear listened attentively to Goldilocks' explanation. They could see that she was genuinely sorry for her actions and that she had not meant to cause any harm. They also noticed that she had a kind and adventurous spirit, something that they could relate to. Mama Bear, being the kind-hearted one, decided to forgive Goldilocks and offered her to stay for dinner. Goldilocks was overjoyed and accepted the offer. During dinner, the four of them got to know each other better and found out that they had more in common than they thought. They all had a passion for adventure and a love for the forest. After dinner, Goldilocks offered to help with the cleaning up, as a way to make amends for her actions. The three bears were impressed by her willingness to make things right, and they appreciated her help. As Goldilocks was leaving, they invited her to come back and visit them anytime. Goldilocks promised to come back and visit her new friends, and she felt grateful for the unexpected adventure and the new friendship she had found. The bears, being kind-hearted, forgive Goldilocks and invite her to stay with them, showing her the wonders of the forest and the importance of respecting others' property. Goldilocks, feeling relieved and grateful, accepts their invitation and joins the bears on their adventures in the forest. During her stay, the bears introduced Goldilocks to the beauty and diversity of the forest. They showed her the different plants and animals that call the forest home and the importance of preserving it. Goldilocks was fascinated by the wonders of the forest and the different creatures she encountered. The bears also taught her about the importance of respecting others' property and how her actions had affected them. Goldilocks was filled with remorse, but she learned from her mistakes and promised to be more considerate in the future. As the days passed, Goldilocks and the bears grew closer. They had become like a family to one another. Goldilocks had found a sense of belonging, and she was grateful for the opportunity to learn and grow. Eventually, the time came for Goldilocks to leave the forest, but she promised to come back and visit her new friends. The bears were sad to see her go, but they were happy that they could make a positive impact on her life. Goldilocks, on the other hand, had learned valuable lessons about respect and responsibility, and she would never forget the wonderful adventure she had in the forest with the three bears. Goldilocks becomes good friends with the bears, and they teach her many valuable life lessons. The bears, being wise and experienced, taught Goldilocks about the importance of responsibility, respect, and kindness. They showed her how her actions affected others and how to consider the feelings of others before making decisions. One of the life lessons Goldilocks learned from the bears was about respecting others' property. They taught her that just because something is accessible, it doesn't mean it's okay to take or use it without permission. She understood that her actions of trying out the porridge, chairs, and beds without permission were wrong, and she took this lesson to heart. The bears also taught Goldilocks about the importance of being selfless. They showed her how to put others first and to think about how her actions can affect others. Goldilocks was touched by the bears' kindness and generosity, and she made a promise to herself to be more considerate towards others in the future. The bears also taught Goldilocks about the importance of self-love. They showed her that everyone is unique and that it's important to accept and love oneself for who they are. Goldilocks was inspired by the bears' positive attitude towards themselves, and she learned to embrace her own imperfections and to love herself. In addition to these valuable life lessons, Goldilocks and the bears shared many adventures and memories together. They laughed, played, and explored the forest together, creating a strong bond of friendship that would last a lifetime. The bears had become a second family for Goldilocks, and she was forever grateful for the lessons and memories they shared together. Goldilocks spends the summer with the bears, but as autumn comes, she must return home. Her parents had been worried about her, as she had been gone for a long time and they didn't know where she was. She had to leave her new friends behind, with the promise to come back and visit them soon. The day of her departure was difficult for Goldilocks and the bears. They had grown very close during the summer and they didn't want to say goodbye. Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Baby Bear had become like a family to Goldilocks. They had shared so many adventures and memories together, and they had taught her valuable life lessons. As they said their goodbyes, Goldilocks felt a mix of emotions. She was sad to leave her friends, but she was also excited to go back home and share her experiences with her family. She hugged each one of the bears tightly and promised to come back soon. When she got home, her parents were overjoyed to see her. They were relieved that she was safe and sound. Goldilocks told them about her adventures with the bears and the valuable lessons she had learned. Her parents were proud of her. They could see that she had grown a lot during her time away, and they were happy that she had found a sense of belonging in the forest. From that day on, Goldilocks would often visit the forest and her friends the bears. She would tell them about her life, and they would tell her about theirs. She had found a new family in the forest, and she was grateful for the time she had spent with them. The friendship between Goldilocks and the bears would last a lifetime. They shared a special bond that would never be broken. The bears give her a warm farewell and encourage her to always remember the lessons she learned from them. Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Baby Bear were sad to see Goldilocks go, but they knew that it was time for her to return home. They gathered around her and hugged her one last time before she left. As they said their goodbyes, the bears reminded Goldilocks of the valuable lessons she had learned during her stay with them. They reminded her of the importance of responsibility, respect, and kindness. They reminded her that her actions have consequences and that she should always think before she acts. They also reminded her of the importance of self-love and acceptance. They told her that everyone is unique and that it's important to embrace her own imperfections and to love herself. They encouraged her to continue to spread positivity and kindness wherever she goes. The bears also reminded her of the importance of nature and the environment. They reminded her of the importance of preserving the forest and the different creatures that call it home. They encouraged her to continue to learn about the natural world and to be a responsible steward of the environment. Finally, the bears gave her a special gift to remember them by: a porridge bowl, a chair, and a bed, each one representing the lessons she had learned, and a promise to come back and visit soon. Goldilocks was touched by the bears' kindness and generosity, and she promised to always remember the lessons they had taught her. She left the forest with a heavy heart but with a full mind and a grateful spirit, ready to apply the lessons she learned in her daily life. The story ends with a surprise twist, where it is revealed that the bears were actually a family of shape-shifting humans who were hiding from society because of their unique abilities. Goldilocks, being accepting and kind, was the only human who had ever seen them in their true form and accepted them. Goldilocks was shocked and amazed when the bears revealed their true identities to her. She couldn't believe that the kind and wise family she had grown to love were actually humans like her. The bears explained that they had been living in hiding for a long time, as they feared being rejected and persecuted by society because of their unique abilities. Goldilocks, being a kind and accepting person, reassured the bears that they were safe with her and that she would never reveal their secret. The bears were touched by her understanding and generosity, and they knew that they could trust her. From that day on, Goldilocks and the bears' friendship became even stronger. They continued to explore the forest together and share many more adventures. Goldilocks became the bears' protector, and she made sure that their secret was safe. She also helped them to find acceptance in human society, and together they educated people about the importance of acceptance and diversity. The story ends with Goldilocks and the bears living happily ever after, as best friends and allies, sharing their love for adventure and teaching valuable life lessons to others. They become an example of acceptance, diversity, and understanding to society, proving that true friendship knows no bounds, whether you are a human or a shape-shifting bear.